Hello everyone and welcome back to another Optc Cruise video. We are back for a showcase of my speedrun teams that I presented in the previous video. So make sure you check out that video if you haven't yet. But first watch this video because I have made changes that are very important for not only the functionality of the team but also the speed of it. So for the mid map here, we are going to ensure that we get Jack. If we don't get Jack, then or don't fight Jack in the middle of the map, then it will completely ruin our run, because we are using a team that is specifically designed to fight the mid map of Jack with a very fast speed team. So first off, let's face the Intrusion. So for this one, we are going to be using a Yamato friend captain, if my game can actually load. This team is very slow in terms of it has a lot of supports, but it is quite difficult, this boss. So I think this is definitely required, and obviously you want to maintain your high point boost. So I wasn't trying to lose any point boost by using units that are lower boosted or sacrificing units such as Ace, who are 1.4x boosters. So Ace himself is kind of useless on this team. Same for what's his face, the Arlong unit. Both of them are 1.4x boosters but aren't really great for functionality on this team. So we just have to do what we have to do. It is still fairly fast considering how many supports we have. So on this stage here, we are going to be using Nami Karina as well as the swap effect. Go into Karina's form to get her out in the attack down. We can also use Yamato's special, get rid of the pain debuff. Then we can use Arlong. We're basically using everyone here besides Luffy. We can leave Sanji. Sanji is quite useless. And actually, I would recommend keeping the Wano Orb on Yamato. That was a bit of a mistake of mine. Make sure you keep your orb on Yamato, because we are going to get a full board of unfavorable orbs here. But it should still be fine. We have Wano Orbs on 3 other units. And we get a ton of debuffs. We're getting around both the Bind and Despair with supports entirely. You can use Luffy's super type for a conditional attack boost, and then Yamato's X super for the heck of it, and then we can just kill the enemy. Start off with a non-damage unit with Chain, and then we can actually hit with our units with Wano Orbs. So pretty decent team. If you make sure you keep the Wano Orb on Yamato, and also on maybe 2 other characters, then this team will last for quite a while. I think this should last to a decent nav level. It won't last for a huge amount of time. If you're going deep in the treasure map, you definitely will have to make some modifications, but overall I'd say it's pretty solid in terms of how far it can go. So for the mini boss teams, we have made quite a few tweaks just to improve how fast it is, especially on the King team, where I was using Nami and Carrot. They are a very slow character. We had to use their super swap and their very slow special, but fortunately I did change it out, and we are using the 5+ Lucci treasure map character, who basically does exactly what Nami and Karina does, but just much faster. Damn, okay, this is good. Always watch out for the cards. They can help you a lot. I'm actually going to use this Cat C card. It is ruining my speed a bit, but I mean, it is what it is. This team is already going to be slow because of the fact that I'm using I'm on the bonus map, which means I have the lowered navigation, and then I also have the Intrusion fight. So this is not going to be the most fast run, but Intrusion is just here for getting a bunch of stuff, free things. So I'm actually quite interested to see how fast we can actually get through this on probably the slowest run you'll ever have, which is going to be the bonus map. But anyways, Jack here is going to be a victim of bullying, and we are going to be wave clearing him. So we use Roger and Zoro. Both are really good characters that can deal huge sums of damage through the normal attacks only debuff and enemy defensive effects, which is exactly what we need for this kind of a quest. Jack is kind of weak in terms of his HP. He only has about 2 million, give or take. and he has very annoying debuffs, being 7 turns of defense up and 7 turns of resilience. He also has full immunity, so you can't use someone who can reduce defense. And additionally, if you try to remove the resilience or the defense up, you will get further the damage nullification on the enemy. So it's a huge speed running mess. So having someone like this is going to be so nice, because we just got to the final stage and Jack is gone already. So this is just, sometimes when you see a huge problem, instead of trying to struggle with it, just find a way around it, and this is the best way to do that. And the main issue here is that sometimes you may forget to go after Jack, but I mean, after you do this long enough, you will get you will have some sort of muscle memory with it, and you definitely won't mess up. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just know that for most of the time, Jack is on the right side of the map, but on these, whatchamacallit, on the special maps, the bonus maps, he's on the left side. So I have messed up sometimes, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. But for the other mini bosses, we are using a very cool Soba Mask team that I'm actually quite excited to show you guys. And it is a lot of specials and supports. It's 2 specials and 2 supports. Now don't click away on the video. Those are very fast activating supports and specials. Sometimes in the game, you might see a lot of specials and you may be put off. But honestly, sometimes a team like this can be faster than a 1 special team, because some specials activate really slow, others activate really fast. So you always have to consider that into your speed of your team. You can't just fully rely on, okay, am I activating only 2 specials and no supports, or am I only activating 1 special, but that's 1 special is really slow. So for that team, we are using very fast activating specials, making it still really fast and very strong. Even though Soba Mask is quite a weak captain, we just have an overwhelming amount of damage buffing effects to override that that debuff, or that con of using Soba Mask. But anyways, I digress. This first team here, I messed up already. You're supposed to use your Zoro on stage 1 to charge your kid-in-law special. I did get the cooldown buff, so I didn't have to worry about that, but otherwise you will need 2 turns of cooldown, in which Zoro gets rid of that, or gives that 2 turns. So use Zoro stage 1, kid-in-law stage 2, and then on the final stage, hit a great, and then hit on Hancock. You will get through the chain attack down. In the early stages, you can just hit a perfect on Boa. She will activate and go past the chain boundary and kill the enemy. But at later navs, don't do that. You will lose out on a lot of damage. So this next one is against the Queen. So this is actually quite a canon battle, which is kind of cool. We have Queen versus Soba Mask, and we are using our captain action to get past Queen's defense up. And I think he also has a damage reduction and a threshold. So he has basically everything. Sanji ignores all that. That's why Sanji is more special than the enemy defense negating characters such as Carrot and Dogstorm and Cat Viper, is that Soba Mask also gets around defense up, where those characters do not. But on the first stage here, we are using a 1-turn cooldown reducer and wave clear, being Zoro. Stage 2, we use Kikyo Izo for a wave clear and a chain lock. And then final stage, we use Yasop Usopp and Soba Mask for a bunch of damage buffs. The captain action activates really fast for Sanji, so don't worry about it. We have Uta support on our Yasop and Usopp to free them from the special bind. As you can see, the captain actions are activating really fast. Sanji also activates quite fast as well. And then we use Yasop and Usopp, and then just hit a good on your Soba Mask. You can actually only use one of the captain actions of Soba Mask, just so that one character can go through the barriers, because why waste time activating the second one if you don't need it? At the early stages, you might not even need to activate Yasop and Usopp, and then you can also remove Uta support. But until then, or beyond then, you will need Uta to make sure that Yasop and Usopp is free from the debuff. So we just reached the 10-minute mark, and I mean, that's not great, but I mean, as I said before, this map is really excuse me, is really slow, and it also my connection is also pretty mid. The ping is very bad here in South Africa, and I wasn't getting very good luck with the rolls. It definitely could be playing better, but I mean, this is a speedrun, as I said in the title, but I mean, this is a bonus map, so it definitely could be sub 10 minutes if you do play it on a normal run without fighting the intrusion. But for now, we aren't focusing on that. I just want to give you a comprehensive breakdown of all the teams, including the intrusion, because I know a lot of people will be struggling with that one. But for this team, stage 1, Zoro, or any other wave clearer that is strength. Stage 2, Jack, gives a color affinity and wave clear. But before that, use your cat to make sure that your special for Lucci is charged. And then also gives us an attack boost on the final stage from the cat special. Finally, you can just use Lucci on the final stage. One special along with Alba gets around the 3.5x or lower chain attack down. Do not swap into the captain. And then we can just hit one good and get past the chain attack down. So that's basically all you need to know about that team. Went through that very fast, so I hope you digested all of it. But a very, very easy boss. But it's also very easy to mess up. Make sure you use Cat Viper special on stage 2. Otherwise, your Lucci will not be ready and your units will be special minded and you will lose the quest. So do not forget to use Cat Viper on stage 2. He does help with the attack on the final stage, giving us an attack boost on the final stage, and also with cooldown, and he also activates ridiculously fast. So make sure you don't forget it. Very fast team, that one. But let's get into the final boss. Okay, so for this one we are using whatchamacallit, Luffy versus Luffy as our friend captain instead of Yamato. So Luffy actually goes really well with Jinbei. Both are fighter based units, and Luffy does help us get around chain attack down. It's a very drastic chain attack down in this quest that lasts for both stage 2 and stage 3. It requires a chain of above 3.5x before you start dealing damage. And for this one, you are going to have to stall for Judge 2 turns on this first stage. You can leave stage 1 once Judge is at 3 turns of cooldown remaining. Going over to the next stage and the enemy's preemptive, as well as the 1 turn of cooldown from Ace will make sure he's ready at 3 turns. But since I've charged, I don't need to do any of that stall. We can use Ace, who by the way is not required 5+. Use Judge, along with the Rage support to get around the weak chain lock. We can then use Luffy for a huge chain boundary, and we can kill off Kaido. The final stage, the enemy will have defense up, threshold, and damage reduction of 7 turns, and will give us 7 turns of attack down. Hina, along with our Sanji and our Jinbei, will get around all the debuffs. Now, unfortunately, Sanji gets around only 5 turns of those 7 turns of all those debuffs, so that we can then use our Jinbei super type to get around the threshold. We can use Jinbei special to get around the damage reduction and give us a boundary that will allow us to get around the chain attack down. And then finally, Hina will get around the rest of the damage reduction, or the defense up, and the attack down. Later on, you can use Luffy's versus effect to give the enemy a increased damage taken. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. My throat is finished, as you could tell. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Ask any questions if you need any in the comments down below. This is Nav20, by the way. But with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, and I'm out.